It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. I wanted to go ahead and talk about a particular forum post that was submitted by one of you guys, so shout out to Jade in the Discord community. Now, this one in particular was removed pretty much immediately, and I think that it's important that we bring this topic up because it's multi-layered. It's got a lot of layers, like an ogre, you know, like an onion or whatever. Layers, okay? TW in parentheses, and it says, can we stop calling in-game humping SA? What does everyone think about it? And it's even tagged as discussion. So we already understand off the bat, this is what it is. Now, some of you may be asking, I've never considered pressing W and S as some sort of inappropriate action. I've considered it like teabagging or like in Halo or something like that. But believe it or not, there are genuinely people that do believe this, and I wanted to go ahead and show you guys an actual evidence of a DBD creator, well known, that is stating this exact thing, that has this exact opinion.
So humping for fun, not cool. That's unconsensual. It is in-game sexual assault. If you do it unprovoked, that's what it is. So you're fucking weird. Don't do that. It's disgusting. I guess your boyfriend was pretty upset. I don't know. I don't know if that was your friend or if it was a random, but he was way more upset than you were, I think.
So there you have it, right? And obviously the link to this clip is in the description, but the fact of the matter is that there are genuinely people that are this mentally ill where they genuinely believe that you pressing keys on your keyboard is now apparently SA. I would have... Because, mind you, I've referenced this in previous videos, or there are people that genuinely believe it. There's your clip. You know what I mean? If it needs to be said, if it needs to be shown, maybe we should try to popularize it again, because we need to show that these people are not right in the head. They are mentally ill. Like, this is not normal behavior. This is not something that normal people believe. Like, this is not... that doesn't make any sense. Like I keep saying, the DBD community is ultimately like this freaking sewer system Arkham Asylum ass. Like, it make mind-blowing. But anyway, so let's go ahead and read the post. It says, it's not something I hear every day, but I've seen survivors and a lot of streamers describe killers taunting / quote-unquote humping survivors on the ground as SA, and the comparison really bothers me. I'm not saying it's okay, and I understand finding it gross and inappropriate if it brings something upsetting for you, but I don't think we need to call it SA in order to say it's inappropriate or whatever you want to call it. Now, right off the bat, okay? Right off the bat. If we're going down this line of thinking, isn't teabagging also just as inappropriate? Like, you know, just hear me out on this. If we're sitting around and trying to claim that killers pressing their W and S keys are the equivalent, as we heard from that other creator just now, then wouldn't teabagging as a survivor also fall into that? Because you're literally trying to enact some kind of, you know, inappropriate action to the viewer. I mean, if you want to go down that line of thinking, right? Because let's go, right? Like, they want to get ridiculous. We can get ridiculous in that sense, right? We can take it that far. We can sit there and say, well, isn't that just as inappropriate as well? What about you pointing at the killer, right? Aren't you inappropriately touching them without consent because you're putting your finger on them when they never asked you to do that? Right? Let's go there, right? Let's go there. Like, I'm just saying, we can take it that far because it's stupid. It makes no sense. It's a freaking video game. What are we talking about? It's a video game. We're playing a video game where fictional monsters are slaughtering fictional victims in a fictional setting that does not exist. None of these maps exist. None of these people in the game, except maybe like Nicolas Cage, but he's, you know, that's a character within the universe of the game. Still is a character, does not exist. Exhibit A, right? All of these people are not real. All these characters are not real. They're pixels on the goddamn screen. But let's continue. So it says, where was I? Okay. essay involves a real person having their body violated, right? An animation being used to taunt you in a video game can absolutely make you uncomfortable, but it isn't the same thing as someone actually taking control of your body and violating you in real life.
Consensual. It is in-game sexual assault. If you do it unprovoked, that's what it is. So you're fucking weird. Don't do that.
I'm just trying to make sure we understand, right? Apparently, pixels can hurt you in real life. I don't know how. Apparently. This person says that someone who has experienced SA seeing the same term used for both feels extremely uncomfortable and minimizing to me. In a game, I can look away, leave the match, turn the game off. When someone is actually being, SA'd, they don't necessarily have that option. Now, DBD Reddit, right, with their infinite wisdom, right, r/deadbydaylight, DBD Reddit with their infinite wisdom decides to delete this post and even ban Jade for sharing this experience, trying to create a conversation. And that gets deleted. You get a full-on ban because you decided to share your experience. It's insane. I just want to point that out, but let's finish it off. It says, I think there's room to say this behavior is gross and makes you uncomfortable without calling it SA. I'm curious about how other people, especially other survivors of SA, feel about the terminology. So Jade is trying to create a conversation from somebody who's apparently experienced that, can offer that to the conversation and go, look, does this term really define this correctly? And really is questioning these things, which I think is important. But according to DBD Reddit mods, you're not allowed to question things. You're gonna get your post removed and you get banned because you decided to talk about an important topic. Now we're actually going to be reading screenshots of reaching out to the mod team, right? Because we've had comments, oh, why don't they just reach out to the mod team? So here you go, right? We actually have someone reaching out to the mod team to dispute their ban because they do feel like it's unjustified, whatever the case may be, or whoever reaches out and may feel unjustified in that sense, right? And it says, I'm on topic and kept it as appropriate as possible while talking about a real issue in the game that triggers many people. It was for an open discussion. I'm very confused and it feels like you're shitting down an SA victim's opinion and thoughts. Not sure why my post was removed. Now, mind you, like I keep saying with DBD Reddit mods with their infinite wisdom, they like to say, the post focuses on a topic that does not directly relate to gameplay or gameplay opinions. But last time I checked, why don't we go ahead and give it a listen once more?
Unconsensual. It is in-game sexual assault.
So I'm a bit confused, right? Because I thought it was in-game, right? Isn't that directly what people are making the claim as? It's in-game. Last time I checked, you're pressing 2 keys on your keyboard because you're playing the video game. So how does that not relate to gameplay when you're literally playing the game? And how is that not a gameplay opinion if you're literally playing the game? I'm a little bit confused. I'm just saying. I'm a little bit confused, right? Because I could have sworn we just heard just now from a DBD creator, right? Which probably, I would have to argue the most toxic DBD creator we've covered in the past. But if we're taking that definition, right, we're taking that line of logic of delusion and we're putting that into the conversation, doesn't that directly mean that we are talking about gameplay? And of course, Jade says, yes, it does. How does it not? Which you don't really see it there, but it's there. So now it says, yes, so as you see, like I keep saying, with their infinite wisdom, apparently BM is not gameplay. So why don't we go ahead and look at the definition of what BM is? So according to whichever this is, I believe it's Game Tree. Basically, it says, BM stands for bad manners. These to describe any behavior considered rude, unsportsmanlike, or just plain mean in the gaming community. Think of it as the opposite of GG, good game. When someone's pulling a BM, they're basically being a jerk in the game. So I'm a little bit confused as to how it doesn't pertain to the game if it's literally only taking place in the game. You don't BM outside of the video game. So let's go ahead and continue. It says, what? It literally is a part of gameplay that happens every other game. This honestly feels extremely disrespectful. Removing my post, trying to bring awareness on how these terms do more harm is strange. It's honestly disgusting behavior from you guys. I mean, it goes without saying, there's no valid explanation for removing a post that's directly creating a discussion around something as delusional as what we keep hearing.
That's unconsensual. It is in-game sexual assault. If you do it unprovoked, that's what it is. So
I'm a little confused, is my point. So, of course, like I keep saying with the Reddit mods and their infinite wisdom, then they want to pull out their go-to of, like, bullshit. It's either number 2 or number 5. That's their favorite fucking numbers. And this is what they say. They say, fine, I will quote specific portions of Rule 2 that pertain to your post. They say, submissions focus on activity in the sub itself or meta posts. But it's not, there wasn't any activity taking place in the sub if it's saying that it's within the video game called BM, right? Bad manners in the video game, so that doesn't work, obviously. So we're just like throwing away all logic. Then they say your post, oh no, not your post. It says you post is directly referencing discussion in the sub and other communities regarding public perception of BM and commentary on it. This is off topic. But that's not what the rule says. It says activity in the sub itself. And it says or meta post, but they don't define what meta post means. Then they say overly political, religious, or societal discussions. The discussion of essay in general and as it specifically relates to its conflation with BM falls under this bullet point as well. That still doesn't really make any sense, because if the BM is taking place in the game and people are making the claim, as we keep showing over and over and over now.
So humping for fun, not cool. That's unconsensual. It is in-game sexual assault. If you do it unprovoked, that's what it is. So you're fucking weird. Don't do.
So I'm a little confused, because doesn't it pertain to an opinion that people have about what the gameplay? But they say that, oh, it's under conflation with BM point, blah blah blah. Doesn't matter if it happens in game. It is not always related to DBD gameplay. Like, what are you talking about? My brother in Christ, what are you talking about? Like, my brother in Christ, what are you talking about? They say it doesn't matter if it happens in-game, it's not always related to DBD gameplay. This goes for BM, salty chat, perceived or verified harassment, etc. These sorts of topics are not one this sub looks to promote or foster. I find that a bit ironic, because anytime that there's a killer hate post, that never gets removed. But the second that there's any criticism towards survivors, that is always sitting there for multiple days, weeks, months. So I'm a little bit confused by that. So it just goes to show a double standard again. That's all I keep saying, because the evidence is there. We've covered the posts that have been removed and on this exact sub, and they're getting removed for no good reason. They're not offering any explanation. They keep saying, oh, it's number 2 and number 5, but they don't directly define what those things are. And even if they were to do that, those reasonings would probably be just as ridiculous. So we still can't trust what they say. Now here's something that I think would really be like the peak of DBD Reddit mod expose. Right here is that the mod themselves states, for what it's worth, and before this becomes another one of the v.h.s.x hit pieces on this sub, I agree with you, but this topic and others like it are not relevant to this sub. And mind you, this is unprovoked, by the way. We showed the screenshots of the entire conversation, and unprovoked, they bring me up by name, okay? On their own, okay? By themselves. This is great. Mind you, of course we're covering this because, number one, we're exposing the entirety of the community at this point. We're exposing pretty much every aspect. We're covering the forum and Reddit discussions, sometimes even the Instagram discussions. We're showing you guys, we're lifting the manhole cover of the DBD community sewer system, right? Because that's what it is. It's a slimy disgusting asylum taking place inside of a sewer system. It stinks, but we're going ahead and showing it to you guys so that those of you that may be in there that want to leave, this is your way out. I'm showing you what's happening. I'm showing you what's going on. So yes, this is going to become another v.h.s.x hit piece on this sub. Yes. And this mod, I have to say, it's like, bro, you know full well none of this makes any fucking sense. Like, you know full well it doesn't. Because it has everything to do with the goddamn topic at hand. And you already can tell, if you already haven't been, removing post after post that are directly showing a clear bias within the mod team. There just is. We're seeing it because people who put up like these posts are literally just talking about criticisms towards Survivor players or how they decided to play the game, whether it be a perk, a play style, whatever the case may be. They pertain to the game. It's literally called r/deadbydaylight, bro. And literally pressing 2 keys on your keyboard is still playing the goddamn game. You could try to find a way to twist it around with the semantics that they have to pull out, but at the end of the day, we're still right. We're still already showing, like, it's still playing the video game. It's not like they're bringing up an off-topic topic when it's literally taking place in the game. There's content creators that we just showed you like 4 to 5 times that are making the claim that this is the equivalent. So I'm just saying. So why don't we go ahead and continue reading the rest of this thing here? Because now we're hitting peak levels of delusion. You're gonna love this, okay? It says, I'm really not sure what you think you're accomplishing by having that person comment on our actions within this sub. Your submissions have broken our rules on numerous occasions, yet no evidence was provided for that, mind you. But keep in mind that even with the evidence we do have that we're being shown here, I literally, mind you, like we're covering the rules that they literally are showing themselves. Oh, rule number 2. Oh, meta post. What does that even mean? You're putting quotations on a term and there's no definition. Like, that's not even an agreed upon thing that every single Reddit user is agreeing with. Oh yeah, that's what a meta post is. Nobody knows what that means. Like, what are you talking about? So you can't just pull out a random thing out of your butt and go, oh, okay, that's the rule. Like, what are you talking about? And then you want to say rule number 5. Where's the evidence for that, right? But anyway, let's continue. They say, I even sent you a mod mail last time explaining how and why your submissions were removed, and yet you still felt the need to attempt to brigade against us. You see how this false like sense of like grandeur that they have? Because look at this. They say, attempt to brigade against us by informing that ignorant clout chasing hack about the removals. Like, bro, what clout is there to gain from talking about like the bozos that frequent Reddit? Like, what is the clout to be had? This is not a popular topic. This is not something that everybody's clamoring, waiting for the next entry for. We're literally just showing exactly what you're doing in your own fucking sub. Like I would think that a subreddit for this game would be very reflective of the community, and we're actually seeing that indeed it is. It is reflective of the community. It is, right? Because even within the conversations being had on their subreddit, they're trying to control narratives. They're trying to sit there and without any mask on, they're mask off, like out here removing posts that only disagree with their predisposed bias. Because if it really were about creating conversations, they wouldn't be removing every single post. They would probably even leave a comment like, oh, there's already a main thread that you guys can use that talk about this topic, but they keep removing every topic, so there's no main thread to even talk about these things, which is a good point. And you know, they have it's a lot of Reddit speak, which is really funny too, because they say, I can assure you that the only way to actually attempt to change the way things work around here is by talking to us reasonably and without your own personal biases. Which, mind you, you have your own personal biases if you're going to be removing every single post. You're not even going in objectively, because you're coming in and trying to claim that, oh, that V guy is a hack. He's a clout chasing hack, and he's ignorant. It's like, I'm going off what you're showing us, pal. Like, there's nothing ignorant about it. I'm trying to do the research, and they just keep giving you. You're just putting yourself in the hole. Like, that's you. That's not me. I don't even have to twist the narrative. I don't have to put a bias in there. You're showing it by yourselves. There is nothing I'm doing that adds on to the story. You're doing it yourself. I'm showing the news, basically, on what is being said. You typed this out yourself. You decided to remove those posts. You decided to cite rule 2 or 5. There's nothing there that I can do to change those parts. You did it yourself. It's not me. That's you. But anyway, they say, which mind you, they tried talking to you and all you did was cite rule 2. And then didn't even give a strong enough explanation. Because the gameplay, you're like I keep saying, you're literally in game pressing W and S. Like, what do you mean it's not gameplay? You're pressing 2 keys while playing the game. The game is open. You're playing a character. You're pressing 2 keys on your keyboard. That's directly gameplay. But anyway, they say not getting some 2-bit YouTuber to try and do an expose on pretty standard subreddit operating procedures. Which, mind you, if these are standard, then that tells you everything you need to know about these subreddits, bro. Or at least the ones pertaining to DBD. Because if that's pretty standard, that tells you everything you need to know. That the DBD community is rotted from the core. Because even when places that you want to go to maybe speak with other people that play the same game, maybe have different viewpoints, maybe you have a conversation about your views on that game or your experience playing that game, you can share that experience or vent about something or whatever the case may be. They are actively controlling what gets shown and what doesn't. They're actively controlling what narrative goes through and what doesn't. They're actively doing that. And that, of course, will spread because why? Behavior goes to these Reddits, goes to the r/deadbydaylight or whatever the case may be, the DBD forums, and they will pull feedback from that. So I think it's interesting to me that they ignore the fact that Behavior has already directly stated that they check these forums for feedback. So I think it's important that the information they get is good information, that the feedback they get is good feedback. But if we're sitting around removing everything that criticizes survivors, but only keeping the stuff that criticizes killers, why do you think the game is going to continue to head into this direction? Just how it goes. And to top it off, just to really give it like a nice bit of icing on the cake, it says that your account has been temporarily banned. And it says Reddit is a vast network of communities, blah, blah, blah. And then it basically says banned for 3 days for harassment. Believe it or not, now the Reddit mods, as I keep saying, in their infinite wisdom, have now claimed that Jade here harassed them. Apparently. But we just read the whole conversation, so I'm a bit confused as to where this harassment took place, because that's not what we're seeing. That's not what we're seeing. I'm a bit confused. Right? So someone on the platform reported the following: a direct message sent from, their Reddit there, and it says, after reviewing, you found out you broke rule 1 of engaging in harassment. It says. And then it says the Reddit's to replace, create a community, blah, blah, blah. We don't tolerate any behaviors that discourage others from participating in communities, conversations, blah, blah, blah. And mind you, even the email doesn't specify what occurred. And it says any communities or people that incite or engage in harassment or abuse towards an individual group will be banned. And it says we're issuing a temporary 3-day ban on your account and asking to not break this rule again, blah, blah, blah. So once again, I'm asking, how does that make any sense? Where was the harassment? What was the example of the harassment? Where did it take place? Because we read the whole thing, so I'm a bit confused as to where they're coming from with this nonsense. Because, mind you, as I keep saying, they're making these claims, but they're baseless. They're making these claims, but there's no evidence, right? They have all these strong opinions about, oh, you're covering our favorite little subreddit. You're being ignorant. It's like, I'm going off what you're giving us, pal. Like, it's not like we're making this stuff up. Like, this is what you're giving us. And what else do we have to interpret, right? Because if you're only removing stuff that talks negatively about survivors and you're continuing to keep things that only criticize killers constantly, that's a bias by itself. Or if you're removing posts that ask for help, if you remove posts that ask for advice, because we've even covered that. Somebody had asked for help, like, hey, I'm facing really hard teams. How do I improve? What can I do? Because I'm struggling really badly. No, their post is deleted. But are they gonna say, oh, that doesn't count as playing the game? That's literally the gameplay in itself, improving at the video game. So I'm a bit confused. I'm just saying, I'm a bit confused as to how that makes any sense. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at some of the replies, which I imagine are just as mentally deranged as we would have expected. And yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look. So it says here that it says stay on topic and appropriate, which, mind you, the post was completely appropriate. It says something about must be directly to playing the current content design and balance or events that pertain directly to those aspects, which is not something that's even within the description of the actual Reddit itself. Mind you, it's very vague. It doesn't say like, oh, Reddit, DBD, DBD Reddit, r/DBD fucking balancing or content or whatever the hell. It just says r/deadbydaylight. So that already doesn't make any sense. So mind you, they said meta post. They don't define what meta post is. They say this one, maybe you could have used this bullet point where it says real life topics, but even so, that doesn't apply. You could have said, let's see. No. Yep, I'm looking over the bullet points. I'm not seeing anything that. No. Nope. Boycotts, review bombs, blah blah blah. Nope. Doxing. Nope. Platform specific forum appeal. Nope. Discussing the community moderator activity. Nope. It says nope. So looking at rule 2, which they try to cram as much bullet points into it to try to cover as much as they can, it still doesn't really cover anything because it still doesn't pertain to what was being stated in the damn post. But hey, they say people who do this are losers. Call it whatever you want. It shouldn't be happening. Keep in mind that that should be applicable to both survivors and killers. You shouldn't be teabagging then if that's the case. This person is not a single reply able to comprehend what OP is saying so far. That's also a good response. They say the act is stupid and childish, but only remotely resembles what it's claimed to be on a wolf form drag or on anyone else. It just looks like stomping on them. It's dumb, lame, and it's not a big deal. Which, yeah, like, sure, but like, the same thing is just, it's the same thing as teabagging on a survivor, and we've already covered earlier. But anyway, they say, weirdly enough, I had this one happen before, just once. Strange even happened that one time. Gave Sable a couple of WS's after she ratted the whole match in game. She simply said, SA is not a joke reported. It was weird, but didn't think much of it and went on with my day. Haven't been banned for it either, so I guess that's a good sign too. Let's go ahead and make sure we heard correctly.
Thing for fun, not cool. That's unconsensual. It is in-game sexual assault. If you do it unprovoked, that's what it is. So you're fucking weird. Don't do that. It's
just making sure we heard it correctly. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue reading a little bit here. It says calling it essays inaccurate. People are searching for the term harassment instead of the A. So it is a misnomer, but I think saying that people should just get over it is insensitive. This goes for teabagging as well, so I don't think survivors should be left off the hook either. They should stay on the hook and then go to second state and then get carried out by the entity. But anyway, they say I feel like the other BM behavior like clicking or hitting on hooks should don't inspire the same amount of discomfort for obvious reasons. It's rude but not stimulating anything either. It's nuanced, blah blah blah. So, and then this person says that, like, that teabagging being SA, which I've already made that claim, right? If we're gonna say that pressing 2 keys on your keyboard is going to be to that level of harassment, then shouldn't, like, right-clicking or whatever the hell it may be to crouch, or whatever button you use to crouch, shouldn't that be the same thing as crouch spamming on Survivor? Right? I mean, if we're gonna go down that line of logic, wouldn't that be the same thing because you're trying to simulate an act for the viewer to look at? I'm just saying. Want to go that far, you can go that far. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section. on the topic at hand today. And I'm curious to hear, you know, what you think, really, because this is like such a very interesting topic. I think was really worth discussing because it's so important, I think, to show stuff like this, because this is the DBD community. You know what I mean? But check out the main channel, check out the Rivals channel, consider becoming a member on YouTube, Patreon, or even something on Twitch to support me directly. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, we're gonna shout out all the members. So shout out Patreon Crow Vader. So we have Evil Blade 17, Lord Whip with an F there, and then 6540. We have Razmakai, Cozy with Brando, Cap Courteous as well. We got Kargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Christian, and Crow Vader. Appreciate you guys, man. And if you want your name read off at the end of every video, of course, consider becoming a member within on this channel. You know, it could be the badge or I'm a member now tier. Either one works, and you get exclusive perks and content. So check it out, man. Appreciate you guys, man. It means a lot. We'll see you guys in the next one, man.